All right, y'all. So I just have some late night thoughts, some 2 a.m. thoughts. I had a friend pretty much telling me just her problems about just her situation, her life problems. Um, she's in her mid 20s, still trying to figure out life, still trying to figure out what's going on. Um, and I just want to put a disclaimer that in no way, shape, or form am I judging anyone. Again, this is just something that I'm thinking about, my thought process. Um, but she had a situation where she was talking to a guy, and with the guy, he's pretty much not, taking her seriously. And when I say not taking her seriously, I don't necessarily mean just talking to multiple women, but I do mean just not necessarily texting back all the time, not calling, maybe every day, not, I'm sorry, maybe every other day, maybe every 3 days or so. And again, I know most people would say, "Hey, if he's not talking to me, he got to be talking to somebody," which every situation is different. I personally um, give people the benefit of the doubt, maybe a little bit too much, but I still give people the benefit of the doubt. But anyways, so again, he wasn't texting her back, and she is a pretty great person. However, being a friend, you can't necessarily say how a person is or how great of a person is because you're not in that relationship with them. But just from the stories that she tells me, it does sound like she can be a little on the bratty side, which is, I know some people feel like, I'm pretty, and so they can be that way. If that works for you, hey, that works for you. But just listening to her talk, I kind of just started reminiscing about myself. I'm 27. So I kind of started thinking about my past relationships and just comparing it to where I'm at now. And in my past relationships, I used to think, you know, it's an honor to be with me, which it definitely is. But as far as like me feeling like I had to put in the work just as much as that person is, I feel like I didn't have to do that. I felt like I was, holier than thou. I feel like, you want to be with me, so therefore you're the only one that got to put the work in. I was probably like really early 20s thinking this, but now I'm thinking like, dang, girl, was you so wrong? You were really wrong. And I had a situation where, not saying that this is not messed up, but I did have a situation where a guy had we were together for, I'd say, about a year and some change, and he'll always just spend the night. He always spend the night all the time, and I would, and eventually, times got kind of rough. I always worked two jobs ever since I was, shoot, 20 years old. I always worked two jobs. I had a job since I was 14. But anyways, so he was always over there, and eventually it came down to it. I asked him for help for paying the rent, which I didn't. I never really asked him because he didn't technically live there, but he was always over there. And when I did ask him for rent, he made it seem like he didn't have any money, which I'm like, okay, bro, something gonna have to give, because I never really asked you for rent, and you stay with your grandma, so something gonna have to give. I know you got something. And sure enough, I think it was like within the next 2 days, he came rolling up in there talking about something. Hey, Simone, guess what? I got a surprise. I want to show you something. So I'm really thinking this surprise is going to be for me. So he had me come outside and wait for him. And he's like, I'm going to pull up in like 2 minutes. And so he pull up in this charger. And I'm thinking like, it's a brand new charger. And I'm thinking like, who is this surprise for? And he's like, it's for us. I said, boy, I got a car. And you already had a car. I said, if anything, I said, this is not for me. This is for you. This is not for me at all. And I was really upset with him because I never asked him for anything, but I really needed help at the time. I really needed him to help me out, just because I had a situation going on. And so I did leave him for that situation. But just looking back to it, I also was a bitch. I was a bitch to him like throughout the whole relationship. I probably should go into more specifics just because I might be leaving some stuff out, but the moral of the story is sometimes you do have, not saying, again, he was really messed up for that situation. He should have let me know what it was, because I did do a lot for him. But at the same time, I'm just looking back because I thought I was just this great person. But then I look at the details, and I was constantly like yelling at him. I was constantly talking about him, uh, about his job, saying about his work ethic, and then coming down to it when I really needed his help, I'm there needing his money. So sometimes you have to do some self-reflection for you to be able to actually grow. That's the only way you will be able to grow. And growth is what makes you realize how much more worthy you really are. And it also, for people that do lack confidence, it does help you become way more confident, which does help you eventually become, get in a relationship. So again, just some late night thoughts, some self reflection going on. So if you do have to do any type of reflection, if you think you're this great person, and deep down I know you are, but as far as just when it comes to maybe your job, it doesn't have to be relationships, but when it comes to your job, your family, if everybody has something to say about you, 9 times out of 10, you just reflect on yourself to see if that might be true, because that could save you a whole lot of headache, heartache. It can help you with your life. So today's word is reflection. But thank you so much for listening to my bland story. If you like what you hear, subscribe, like. I'll definitely be able to upload more content, just so that way you guys can hear my thought process. But peace.